you're gonna get everybody telling you how to train. You pick up 6 magazines from a rack, you're gonna have 6 different opinions on how you're supposed to train, and you're gonna have 6 different fancy meal recipes on how to be a leaner, fitter cyclist. Who cares? You know, when it comes down to it, you're either finishing a race with a smile on your face or you're not. It shouldn't really matter how you do. I mean, it helps if you win. You're always happy when you win, but if it's not fun, it's kind of why you're doing it. Originally, it was just a job. You go up and you need to figure out how to do this job, and you need to figure out how to do it well because you get paid by the delivery. And then eventually you realize that there's, like, Vancouver, like 70 other dudes running around on their bikes delivering stuff. And you start kind of getting involved, and you find out about alley cats. You just kind of get to be part of the culture by just doing the job. And it's kind of a culture obsessed with speed. Not everybody that's racing alley cats is just a bike messenger. Sometimes it's like, you know, just dudes they're into fixed gears or into bikes or into racing, but they don't really want to go out and get a race license and find out what it's like to do sanctioned racing. But eventually you start hanging out with certain guys that have licenses and guys that are into racing, and they start saying, it's like, hey, you know, like, you're really strong. You ever consider doing the crits out at UBC? You ever consider going out to Richmond? You ever thought about riding the track? So then eventually you just get interested in it and you start to go out. And the track was kind of the first step for me because I didn't have a road bike. I only had the fixed gear bike that I was working on. And while it was not exactly the best of track bikes, it was the only transition that I had, and started riding the track on it. After my first season of racing on the track and moving up through the categories pretty quickly, I kind of decided I was going to use that season to see how good I could be, see how much I can put into it and what'll come out of it. I figured I'd either hit a ceiling and I know that I get to go this far in bike racing and that's it, or I'd just keep getting better, keep getting faster, keep learning more, and I still haven't really hit that ceiling. I probably decided to get serious when I decided I wanted to see where that ceiling was, but then when I wasn't able to hit that ceiling, I kind of got serious about trying to find it. The first Spring Series race I remember going out to and thinking, oh man, there's the local pros that are out at this race, and training for the real season because they're going to like tours and like big races and getting paid to do it. And I was a guy that was riding 5 days a week, was training the best I could, and I finished 6th in the group, and I couldn't believe it. I thought maybe I got super lucky. I don't know what happened exactly, but I was stoked. And then the next Saturday, there's another Spring Series race. I ended up finishing 11th, but I was in this break in this elite category race, and it was 2 races in a row, and I was starting to think, it's like, okay, well, maybe I can really make a good season out of this. Maybe I'll discover how to try to win races, kind of thing. And I finished that race soaking wet. I could hardly get off my bike. And I actually said to Gary, I gotta quit being a messenger because I can't race like this, because I had no recovery time between the last race and this race. I would not be able to get any further as a bike messenger, on the bike all day, racing against dudes who maybe don't work full time, who get more rest, get more proper training. I would be working full time as a messenger, and I actually had a second job up until last spring as well that I did. So I was working 6 days a week and then training 3 or 4 days a week.
What's the main reason for traveling to Australia to race?
There's a bunch of reasons for Australia. The main reason to race there is advice that has been garnered since I started taking racing pretty seriously. Zach Kowalczyk, last year's U.S. national Omnium champion, said to me, he said, you know, it's like, man, you're showing like you could be really good. You need to get out of Canada and race outside of Canada because you're not going to get any faster here. Anybody else who's been racing for any period of time knows that if you want to be fast, you have to race with the fast guys, you know. And there is such a great pool of talent in Canada, but it's not as deep as you can get other places, and it's also too comfortable here for me to learn anything. You know, I know who the 3 fast guys are at the track that you gotta watch, and learning how to beat those 3 fast guys is not learning how to beat, you know, the fastest guy that you see at the track on any given day somewhere else in the world. And I think the difference between me and most other racers is how much work I'll actually put in to get out of it. It's not just the work on the bike, it's like, it's everything else that you put into it.
Boys, Dylan Davies, up 20 points. Yes, I am.